YouTube. And, I just got this urge. I was like, hey, I want to come talk to my people. I want to talk to my fans and just family subscribers and just say what's up. Say what's up. So I haven't done this before on YouTube. I'm gonna see how this works. I got a desktop over on this side, so bear with me for a second as I kind of navigate. I don't know if it. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Sweet. Okay, I'll put this on pause because I don't know how the chat works. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, perfect. And yeah, so anyways, I am live tonight, and I want to go over some things with you tonight. So I use this page mainly for calves and everything calves, but I wanted to also give you guys some rich education and knowledge when it comes to just fitness in general. And so let me see. Do comments come up on this thing real quick? I don't know. So we'll watch this as it goes through, but I'd love to hear where you guys are from, and if you have any questions during this, I'll try to let you know as well and get that answered for you. But what I want to dive into tonight is ultimately one of the 7 reasons why people fail when it comes to fitness and health and whatnot. And so I want to go over there, and you go through a transformation. You're like, hey man, I want to get fit, I want to get in shape, and then you either get stuck or you feel like you get plateaued, or you backtrack and you kind of go back into the old habits that you're at. Like, why is that happening over and over and over in your life when you ultimately just want to be more fit, you want to be healthy, you want to look good, you want to be able to perform at a top level? So ultimately, number one, it comes down to people get comfortable where they're at. They get addicted essentially to the comfort of being in a place that is, that doesn't require hard work and discipline and those things that a lot of people connect to as like, I don't have enough time for that, it's too difficult, whatnot. And so, if your goal is to grow and you want to build bigger muscles, you want to be successful, whatever that may be, I encourage you guys to get yourself to an uncomfortable place. So if right now you're not in shape, do what it takes to get in shape. Wake up tomorrow, go eat a good breakfast, good healthy breakfast, and then get in a workout, and you're going to just feel good. Combine that with your cardio, and you're just, you're going to one day at a time, one choice at a time until we get healthy. Number 2 is a really big one. This is like, people wait until they're motivated. And if you're just waiting till you're motivated, you're going to fail over and over and over again, because motivation is kind of like a roller coaster. What we need to create is consistency and discipline. And when you have those 2 things, you show up even on the days that you don't feel like it. And so I encourage you guys to, really focus on not so much motivation. Motivation is going to come, and it's great when your discipline and motivation are working in all at one time. But I also encourage you guys to make sure that you are, being really diligent about working on becoming more consistent day in, day out with your positive choices and discipline. Number 3 is a really good one, and that comes down to, making sure that you don't surround yourself with bad people. So look at your circle right now. Are those individuals in your circle people that you're striving to be more like? Are they kind of people who are like, hey, they're around because we drink together, we eat bad foods together, whatnot? Or do you want more in your life? And if you want more in your life, you need to be around people who are living a lifestyle and making choices that will help you grow and help them grow in a way that can bring success into your life. So I would highly encourage to really look at your circle. That's a big one. Number 4 is really getting into identity and how you identify yourself. So let's say you went through a lot of past pain, trauma, struggle in your past. I would encourage you to start working on the healing of that, because, that shame and that trauma and that pain, it becomes kind of a mirror as far as how you start identifying yourself in one way or another. So I would really focus on, identifying the fact that, hey, I need to get some help. I need to get some work done. Obviously, working out, nutrition is good if you need to get a counselor or if you need to talk to somebody that you care about, getting some healing. But it's about how you're identifying yourself in a positive way, believing in yourself and knowing that you can do it. You hear that a lot, and it's kind of cliche, but it's one of those things where it's like, there's so much truth, because when you have the confidence in yourself, you end up, going and achieving things that you don't when you don't believe in yourself. So number five, it really is surrounded around accountability and making sure that you're staying accountable to your goals. If you don't have somebody like a trainer or somebody you look up to, a mentor, a close friend that kind of is living the lifestyle that will be that accountability partner for you, then I encourage you, this is where identity, discipline, consistency, all that comes in, so that you can create that level of accountability that will get you to your goals. You have to have accountability. Number six is one that we hear all the time. So when we ask our clients, like, what are your specific goals? We get a lot of the same feedback, which is, I want quick results. I want to lose weight fast. I want to gain muscle fast. And I always tell people, like, if you're looking for quick fixes, you got to understand that there's a consequence to it, and it's called quick failure. You're going to fail by doing the things to try to get you there quicker. Like, just focus on, getting yourself healthy, fit, and that's balanced nutrition. That is, that's working out, that's cardio, that's doing the things, and all the things I mentioned above, your circle, the places, the people, the things that you're around every single day as well. All that matters. But that is, that's one of those notions you got to just in your mind know, hey, this is not a sprint. This is a long-term thing. Now, it's good to have short-term goals. You have a photo shoot coming up, you have a vacation, you're getting married, whatever it may be. But I would look at the bigger picture of it, of like the sustainability of getting healthy, staying healthy, and what it takes to get there. And so you're gonna have to sacrifice in some sort of capacity. If you're living a lifestyle right now that is pretty much like, I'm eating whatever I want, I don't work out, then there's going to be a sacrifice, because you can't eat badly and not work out and expect to be healthy and fit. So you're going to have to sacrifice those bad things to get to a good thing. The last one is, you're listening to the same story that you've told yourself for a long time. Like, I'm too old, I'm too overweight, I'm too far gone, I've tried this a million times, I'm too busy, I have kids, whatever it may be. And I just encourage you guys, like, it takes so much. The initial seems like it's so heavy. The initial of transforming your life seems like it's so heavy because there's so much change that's required. And so I always tell people, unless you're kind of just like super type A, like, take one step at a time. Tomorrow, wake up and, tomorrow eat a good, healthy breakfast. And then, go for a walk tomorrow or something if you're not active at all. And then day two, you just start building on that over and over and over. And then your body starts catching up and you feel good and you feel strong. And, it's that same story that you've told yourself forever. You start believing the lie. You start believing the excuses that you've told yourself forever of why you're not healthy, when the reality of the situation is it's because of your choices that you aren't healthy. And yes, we've all gone through stuff in our lives. We've all gone through traumas. We've all go through pain. We've childhoods that were tough, or broken relationships, divorces, financial situations, ups and downs and lefts and rights. But the reality of the situation is, if anything that you make a priority in your life, you're going to be successful at everything. Look at the things that you enjoy doing. You end up making time for that every single day, whether it's, hey, I got to make sure, I take care of my kids. I got to make sure I get to work. I got to, it becomes, this lifestyle becomes a non-negotiable for you, and that is what it comes down to. We've sat across the table from thousands of people Online, we've worked with over 20,000 clients. We're celebrating 16 years next year as far as our business Hitch Fit. And it doesn't matter where they're from, what their background or culture is, it is the same tone. As humans, we create these barriers and these excuses and these lies, and they're just simply not true. They're just not true. And yes, we need to be in environments that are healthier. I talked about, this earlier. Hey, Anne Marie, it's so good to see you. Thank you for chiming in. Thank you so much. I saw you and I was just going and going, but thank you so much. You're awesome. Yeah, hi to you too, man. 87. I like 87. I like the number 87. But yeah, it's like you end up like living this lifestyle that just really, I mean, it steals from your life. Like it steals from your life because you continue living in a bondage state. So I always tell people when it comes to true freedom, a lot of people connect freedom with the ability to make whatever choice they want to make every single day. So I want to eat this, I want to not work out, I want to go here, I want to watch this stuff, I want to listen to this stuff. Like they think that's freedom, but the reality of this situation is if you're filling yourself, whether it be what you're listening to, your friends, the food you're eating, the non-working out, all that, if you're fueling yourself with a bunch of stuff that's negative, like that's not freedom. That's what we call bondage. To get to freedom, it really requires two things. Consistency of day in, day out, making choices that are going to get you to a better place. Consistency leads to discipline. So you show up even on the days you don't feel like it. And then discipline ends up creating freedom. And when you have consistency, discipline, and freedom, you are in this state where you recognize what is good and what is bad for you. It's like a level of discernment and wisdom that you hold and you carry that you're just like, hey, I make the choices I make every single day. And like, this is who I hang out with. This is what I watch. This is what I eat and whatnot, because I want to feel my absolute best every day. I want to look good. I want to feel my best every day, but I want to be everything that I can be for everyone around me. So all the commitments that I have, my friends, discipleship programs, all these people I'm pouring into and clients, like I can't be who I need to be without taking care of myself at a top level. And some of you guys may not be like living out your purpose right now. And that's okay. At some point, I hope you find your purpose and can do that more. But it doesn't matter if you're not living out your purpose yet. You still have an opportunity every single day to pour into someone. Yeah, I mean, Anne Marie, sugar. This is great. Nutrition is the biggest issue for everyone. So I'll just tell you, 20,000 clients later, 98% of the client base that we've ever worked with. So you're talking 19,000 plus people. It is food based. Now there's a difference between someone who just dabbles into cheating on their food and whatnot, and then someone who has a true food addiction. And I'll tell you, we associate things like alcohol and drugs and whatnot to like negative things. It's like negative. It's like, oh man, they got a drug addiction, or they're an alcoholic. Like we associate those things to a negative thing, and they are. But food kills far more people and destroys far more bodies and minds than alcohol and drugs combined. So it's like, what it does to the mind, what it does to, the body, and you just lose years, not only like years of life, but like fullness of life. Like you're just sick. You're like living in a sick state all the time. And sugar is very addictive too. And it is. There's so much, added garbage, especially in America, just like added garbage into foods. And I hope at some point, leadership just pulls all this garbage out and just like gets healthy options for everyone. Not that you can't go have a cheat meal here and there, but like when every meal that we're eating has some sort of garbage in it, it's just not good. Chocolate chip pancakes with peanut butter and pasta today. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, and I appreciate your honesty, but like I think you need to look a little deeper into why you're eating that to begin with. So, in what I was about to get to, Anne Marie, and I only know this because the last 7 or 8 years we've really dove into what I'm about to talk about. I went through my own healing, which was 7 years, went into deep trauma work, and my wife, Diana, she's a trauma resilient and life coach, and what we've learned a lot, especially in the space of fitness and health, is usually people who have some level of addiction when it comes to food have unresolved trauma that they haven't healed from. And so any sort of addiction usually has a deeper root. So like let's say someone has an alcohol addiction and they start going to AA or they figure out a different path to get clean. That's amazing, but a lot of the times they find another addiction because they haven't actually fixed the root of the issue. So it's not that, having chocolate chip pancakes every once in a while is like a gigantic deal, but this becomes a pattern, and then you start almost like unconsciously not even realizing that you're continuing to make the same choice, where it's like I'm choosing bad foods. Like you go to the grocery store and you choose to have chocolate chip pancakes and pasta in your house with the temptation level that you have. So again, these are all choices that you have to kind of like really break down and go, okay, like I need to work on the root, but in the meantime, I can't have this stuff here because I know I'm turning to it when things get stressful, emotional, or sometimes when I'm just, watching shows and not even realizing how much I'm eating. So, I mean, you get it. You know your past, Anne Marie. You know some of the stuff that you may need to have to go and work in on, but I would just really and I would really just focus on the deeper rooted stuff, and then making sure that you're not leading yourself to more temptation. And what I mean by that is, like, if you were an alcoholic and you're really trying to get through healing, the last thing you're going to do is go to the liquor store and then stock your cabinets full of alcohol. Like, the temptation is there. We have to treat food the exact same way if there is a food addiction. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like, you got to look at that. And I know you can do it. We've seen thousands of people go through the healing process that's necessary and get themselves healthy. But at this particular point, food may just be something that you turn to when things are stressful or emotional. And a lot of times, food people that have food issues or food addictions, they're doing it in private a lot. Like they don't, no one knows it, now you can see it on the outer appearance and stuff like that over time, but it's that can be a lonely state in a very depressing state, because sometimes they'll eat that and then they feel guilty, and then it's this like yo-yo that ends up happening. So I just encourage you, Anne Marie, to just like really prioritize, getting the healing necessary that you may need in your life, and and then really, yeah, you got to set up a schedule, Anne Marie, that you're not doing any of these things. So sugar is an issue. I think I want to order the meal ordering deliveries. Yeah, I mean, it's a better option if that gets you from eating the sugary stuff. Then we got to figure out a plan that will work for you. So just human things. I'm Indian. I eat rice 3 meals a day. Is that bad for you? I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not Indian, but I eat rice like 5 or 6 times a day. As a bodybuilder, like chicken and rice is a main meal. So I eat a tremendous amount. Now, I don't know if you're vegan. For religious purposes, if you're vegan, then you're going to have to figure out how to get proteins in with that rice. Now, sometimes that's you can build complete proteins using beans too. So if you do like a bean and rice, there's other vegan options as well. If you eat any sort of complete proteins, that oh yeah, I mean bodybuilders, like we eat so much food. I think people think that we like eat like birds. I eat like 350 grams of protein a day, 400 grams of carbs a day, probably 90 to 100 grams of 50 to 90 grams of fat a day. So like yeah, I mean, it's what we do. I stay really active though. I work out like 3 hours a day. So, and I'm 220 pounds at 6 foot tall. So I got to feed the muscle that I have. So yeah, man. So you just got to make sure that you're getting protein in as well. So I did the questionnaire for Hungaroo. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not in nowadays with AI, with Google, with influencers, with fitness plans. It's not about education. It's about application. So it's not about education. It's about application. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not using it, then it's not going to matter. And that's why, and it's mentally destructive for someone to make the choice and the commitment to, hey, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to do this diet, or I'm going to do this workout, to just gain all the weight back again. To eat, all the weight back again, that is just mentally exhausting. And I think people do that because they haven't dealt with the deeper rooted stuff. And so, yeah, I would just encourage you to look at that for sure. I eat the same things too. I eat the same things every single day. You just got to eat the right things every single day. I live to mostly fruit and steak. I don't actually eat any fruit at all. I don't eat fruit at all. Some bodybuilders do, some don't. A lot of athletes do. Fruit for me, I'm getting all the nutrients I need with the foods that I'm getting, and my body seems to do better with specific foods. And that's one thing. It's like not one diet fits all. You got to figure out the foods that work for you. What do you think of overhead press? I mean, usually dumbbell overhead press, I like a little bit better than straight bar, just because of, where your shoulders are, unless you're kind of on a Smith machine, just an up and down Smith machine, and you can get the angle exactly right. As you get older, Julian, your shoulders just start, I think your shoulders more than anything, they just start taking a beating. So you got to really protect them. Especially if you're doing heavy chest and you're still, you're doing a lot of pull movement and stuff too with your rotators and your medial and your front delts. So just make sure that, if you're doing overhead press, just, you don't have to go super heavy. At 29, your body is still in a really good place. I don't know what your health is or what you look like or whatever, but at 29, usually the body is pretty good. But, I always, I always tell people, I remember when I was 18 and I started working out, and 25 and 30 and 32, and everybody that was older than me was like, man, just wait till you turn 40. Everything goes downhill. And then I got to 40 and I'm 46 now, and I stay in really good shape. And I said, man, that had to have been the biggest lie I've ever heard ever, was the fact that when you get over a certain age, life goes downhill and your body goes downhill. And so, I've made posts about this and videos about this before. The biggest lie is someone telling you that, but at the same time, it's like, what goes downhill is your choices. Like stress comes in, or you're dealing with food issues, you got kids, you got life, you're not sleeping well, you're a leader at your work, you have all these extra commitments, and you haven't prioritized your health. So I always like, the younger that I can get the kid, the guy, the girl, the younger that I can get them and just teach them those principles and disciplines, they can carry that on in their life, because they're just going to be more successful at everything they do. The more fit and healthy you are, the more opportunities you get. It is what it is in most all situations, pound for pound, because you have the ability to operate at a level that a lot of people don't have the ability to operate. You go into rooms and you get opportunities that some other people won't. And I talk about this all the time, and I work with a lot of executives and business owners and whatnot, and they're some of the most stressful people in the world. They are so stressful, and they're so stressed out all the time. And I get it. They may have 100 employees. They got a 10-20 million dollar business, and they're trying to manage their home life with their marriage and their kids. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, you're not using the tools in your life to help you get to an amazing place. You're like trying to operate like a Ferrari, but you're like driving in a Pinto. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Julian, I appreciate it, man. But that dude, I mean, I'm 46, but like I take care of myself, man. I don't drink alcohol. I don't eat sugar. I mean, I wake up at 3 in the morning every morning. I do my routines. I train hard. I eat right. Like yeah, man. I mean, Julian, you don't know very much about me, but my wife and we've owned a business for 16 years. I was one of the very first online personal trainers in the world. I started back in 2006, and we built it to 82 countries and over 750,000 pounds lost. But I have another program that I work with executives. I take on 10 guys a year. It's a high ticket, it's a high cost thing, but I work with them for an entire year and go in and transform their entire life, from their scheduling to everything else. So it's pretty awesome. But we've done this a really long time, so I have a vast amount of knowledge in the space of transformation, specifically when it comes to aesthetically getting a certain way, the performance that comes with that, and then I think the mental side of things. When you're bringing in trauma work or someone that's gone through a lot of stuff, we excel in that. But I was able to do a lot of stuff in the fitness industry too. I won a world championship in 2011 as a fitness athlete, and did all the magazines and stuff. I was in that for years. So but my passion has always been helping people. I went through my own transformation, and then I just love helping people. I love helping people. If you stop eating sugar and cut it all added sugars within 2 weeks, will you see a huge difference? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Anne Marie, you need to connect sugar to literal poison. Like every time you consume it, it's like putting poison in your life, and you're taking away from your life. It needs to be like that triggered in your mind, because inflammation is connected directly to sugar. So is things like cancer. So is, all the sicknesses feed off of cancer. So, that's just how it goes. Julian, full year is $12,000 for our high ticket. For a high ticket, it's $12,000, but I only take 10 guys on a year. And most of them are high performing CEOs or entrepreneurs, usually like in their 30s, that are trying to get to next level. And a lot of the CEOs are not doing super well from a physical standpoint. They need to get healthy. They need to I don't believe in true balance, but they need to get more balance in their life. So yeah, we go in and do quite a bit of stuff. I do a lot of work with them. And so, yeah, that program's awesome, but it's one of those things where, they get access to me in a way that online clients and really no one else gets. And that's being able to text message, and we do Zoom updates. We do a lot of stuff that's a lot deeper rooted stuff. And it's not just about, hey, eat this and train like this. We're going into like deep stuff. We're putting it all out on the table, and then kind of sifting through it, and then kind of helping that individual. I'll help that guy usually get to a point that's just far superior, whether it's in his marriage, his fathering of his kids, his business and excelling and getting higher revenues, to getting healthy. A guy I put up yesterday, anyone that follows me on Facebook and Instagram, my HitchFit page, Instagram, I had a guy 65 years old, and at 63, he was literally dead, almost on a hospital bed. And he had been obese his entire life. He just lived a life that was just not good. And he got a second chance, and he reached out to me, and I've been with him. I've been with him for a while now, for about 2 years. And he lost a bunch of weight. He lost over 100 pounds. And we actually just competed. He wanted to step on stage. So we went from hospital bed to stepping on stage, and he won a couple awards on stage, one in transformation and one in fitness model at 65 years old. And it was a real proud moment for me. I was so darn proud of him for how far he had come, because that's nearly, you're nearly death. And anyone that follows me on, I mean, I have the Mr. Hitchfit is my Instagram, but I usually just do like calves and stuff on there. I've moved that all the way over, but yeah, Hitchfit on Instagram has it, and then my Facebook, you can look me up, and that has it there as well. So let me go back here real quick. I cut all my sugars out. Yes. Let me see real quick. For like a month straight, and it was so amazing. I did fasting in between, and we'd eat one meal a day. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of fasting either, Anne Marie. Not for purposes of weight loss. It can detox the body fairly well. There are some positives to it, but I think one of the most important things as we age that we need to focus on is making sure that we have good lean muscle mass. It's connected to so many things with longevity of life. VO2 max and lean muscle mass are really high indicators of not only longevity of life, but also fullness of life. So, if you want to, you want to fast every once in a while, it's okay, but don't make it an everyday thing. I don't know. Muscle's more important. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. When I go through transformation with someone, they got to be ready, because especially a lot of guys are just stubborn, and a lot of times they got to hit rock bottom before they make change. They get this like superhero mentality, and it's really frustrating as a coach, because they're like, I can do this, whatnot. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have a heart attack in a year from now if you don't get it together. And they try to will themselves through it. They try to fight their wills through it. And then, eventually when they are ready to commit, then it's amazing to see, the journey. And so it's transformation to me is almost like tearing an entire house down, and then creating it from foundation. So having all the foundational principles in place, and then building the house up and building it on solid ground, and making sure that, the disciplines, the consistency, the nutrition, the workouts, everything is in place so that they can be everything they needed to be, and ultimately be the person they were created to be. So, Anne Marie, I don't know if I put that out in an email yet, but let me plug in real quick. My phone is getting a little low. I was only planning on being on here for like 10 minutes. Hold tight, guys. Let me see. Let me charge this real quick. There we go. All right, guys. I would Anne-Marie, if you go over to one of my Facebooks, I think it's over there. You can see it. I think I posted it Tuesday night. So yeah, it's insane. I don't know how. This is the first time I've ever done YouTube live, so I can upload pictures and stuff like that, but I don't know how to do this. So, Julian, curious, what motivates most of them, would you say? This is a great question. I think that's one of the big things that they have to figure out. And I always encourage anyone that I get the opportunity to work with, or even that I get to speak with at different businesses that we talk at and whatnot, is you got to create a big enough why that you don't quit, and a big enough why that you'll continue doing it for the rest of your life. That's a big why. And I think what a lot of people do, and a lot of failure there is, pending that we're not talking about someone with massive past trauma, those people you gotta go a little bit different with, because their food may have served them at some point as far as protection. Anyways, that's a deeper rooted thing. But when we're talking about whys with just an individual who is looking to get healthy again and fit, you got to think of stuff that's more than just the short term of like, hey, I want to look really good for my wedding, or hey, we got a vacation coming up. All those are good short term, but I mean, how many people get really fit for their wedding and then get out of shape the rest of their marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like it you need a sustainable lifestyle that you can live and still have some level of, being able to have some foods that you enjoy and whatnot, but living a lifestyle that will keep you being your absolute best for everybody in your life. I mean, the impact is massive. And so what I try to do with most guys and even women that I've worked with over the years is figure out not so much what motivates them. We all operate a little bit differently. Some's financial, some is physical, some is they just got out of a relationship and they want to find a new guy or girls. Like motivation it's kind of roller coastery. I kind of look at deeper rooted stuff of like, hey, like you got kids and you want to live a long time for your kids. Hey, your wife didn't, she didn't sign up for this, man. You're 150 pounds overweight. Like you need to get it together. We find bigger whys, and then I kind of create a path of small whys or small, as you said, small motivations along the way. And a lot of that is just goal setting and how the human mind works when it comes to a lot of people are very challenge based. They like challenges. They like seeing results after they put work in. And so there's a way to do that to keep them kind of closer on track. But I also like when clients fall off track. I like to see when they fall off track because I go, hey, I've told you this, but if you go out and you go to the buffet and then you go drink some alcohol, you got to understand that there's a consequence to it. And so it's good for them to experience that as well, Julian. So yeah, every age group is a little bit different too. When you get over a certain age, it starts becoming much more real when a lot of times you're at 29, you're not thinking the same way as someone who is 49 is thinking. They're kind of closer to the end of their chapter when it comes, they may only work another 10 years in their life or whatnot, where you still have another 30 years in your life and starting a family and whatnot. And those people typically at that point, their kids may already be out of the house and, they're kind of starting different chapters in their life. So yeah, I mean, the motivation and the whys are a little bit different, and they can change too. They can change as you continue transforming and going through your own life. So yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for asking so many questions. I really didn't know really what to expect on YouTube. I do this a lot like on Instagram, so I get a lot of weird stuff on Instagram sometimes, but I appreciate you guys keeping it professional and to the point. I'm going to be on here a couple more minutes, and then I actually got to go on another live for. We have a retreat at the end of the month. We also have a retreat business that we take people across the world on. I mean, they're absolutely amazing, and so yeah, so you've helped grow a business. Oh yeah, man, we have Hitch Fit, we have Soul Fit. I'm starting a new business called Breaker Mission. We've been entrepreneurs for Hitch Fit turned 16. I was one of the very first online personal trainers in the world. I was heavily into social media marketing before most anyone was, way back in the MySpace days when you were like 10. You were like 10 years old in MySpace days. So I've been heavy in that world. We do a ton of stuff. We've always done it in home too. So we never outsourced any marketing. I just love marketing. I love content creation. I love creating content and seeing how it impacts people in a positive way. So yeah. That's kind of the flow. But guys, what's the biggest things that most people mess up in a business? Hiring and then not firing quick enough. That's where most people mess up in business. Most business owners are far too connected emotionally. And I'm all about being compassionate and loving and everything else. But when you Yeah, and it depends on the business. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking brick and mortar, and I'm thinking, employees and stuff like that. Because we have a gym as well. But yeah, marketing. A lot of business owners fail in marketing. Yeah, margins and budget and trying to figure out cash flow. There's a lot to it. Great service. I think if you're passionate about what you do, service is something that you teach and that you practice every single day. We've never had issues with service, because it starts at the top, and the expectations that an owner or a manager or a leader kind of exudes into his staff or her staff. So, and then, within our own businesses, I've been able to teach like the other trainers, and just watching the blueprint of it, of, hey, here's what we do, here's how we do it, you can follow it. If you do, you're going to get a lot busier, and that's kind of the deal. But with brick and mortar gyms, I'm around entrepreneurs all the time, and the same thing is one of the, is one of the most difficult things. I hear the same thing, and it always comes around hiring the right people for the right jobs should be a slow process. Firing people once you understand that they're not a good fit, or moving them. The other thing is sometimes it's not instant termination unless it's something that's crazy. If they've totally broke the codes of what your business is and whatnot, and they're toxic for the team, they have to go. But if, let's say they just need more re-education, where they're really strong in certain things but they're really struggling in something else, that's not termination. That's just going in and re-educating, or just going, hey, I see how amazing you are on this side. Are you not interested in doing this other side, or you just not know what to do with, and so I think sometimes it's re-education. But you got to hire slow, you got to fire quick. You really do. Once a really wise business owner, he sold his business to Warren Buffett. He's a close friend of ours here in Kansas City. And he told me, he said, if you start talking about an employee over and over and over again, then you need to let them go. And I'm not talking about it in a positive way, like, oh man, Cindy is so amazing and she does everything right. You know what I'm talking about. So you're talking about them and going, man, they're just, and he said, when you go into that set down with them, a lot of the times it just comes down to you're stealing from their life by keeping them there. You're stealing from their life by keeping them there. And that was powerful for me, because I was like, man, like sometimes people just get so comfortable in where they're at, even if they're really unhappy or their passion is no longer there. And so you have to have a leader come in and go, hey, enough is enough. Like, we got to put the wrap on it, and I'm stealing from your life. You need to actually go and do what it is that you're going to thrive in and be good at. Because, and I appreciate your time here and whatnot, but it's time to kind of move on, and those are always hard conversations, especially if you have any sort of relationship with the person, but they may be angry for a little bit, or, but it's the important thing to do for the rest of the staff, for the business and the life of the business, and then also more than likely for them. So thank you guys so much for all the questions. I've been on here like 30 more minutes than I was planning on it, and I still got to do another one. So, all right, guys. Hey, I'll try to get on here every once in a while. So I hope you guys tune in. Thank you guys so much for following, and yeah, have a blessed night. We'll talk to you soon.